Tonight, extreme caution after a toxic spill in Canterbury.
There's still a lot of hazard there, so we've just got to treat it with a lot of respect at the moment.
Conflict on the street for noise control officers.
Hey, who actually lives here, mate? Who actually lives here?
And more sparks fly on the North Shore.
Apparently it's a demolition party.
In Canterbury, Environmental Enforcement Officer Norman Marsh has responded to an urgent call-out.
It was equipment failure, 80 litres of fuel into the drains.
Emergency teams are on the scene at a Rangiora petrol station, where a freak accident has caused petrol to escape from one of the pumps.
So what's happened here at the moment is we've got a mobile station here. We've had a fuel pump that's, for some reason, it's fallen off the main pump, the nozzle's hit onto the ground, and it started pumping. It's pumped for 2 minutes at 40 litres a minute and flown straight into the stormwater.
It's easy to mop up the petrol on the forecourt and the road, but the main problem is the petrol that's escaped down the drains.
It's not a huge amount of fuel in terms of a discharge. It's just the particular place that in the middle of town that's the problem.
The petrol station is in the most built-up area in Rangiora, and Norman has to minimise the risk to people and property.
Every time you look at something, you've got to go out there and say, what's the best way of containing it?
He's worried about the petrol that ran into the storm water pipes, which will be giving off volatile fumes that could ignite and cause a major explosion. The area has been cordoned off and local businesses evacuated, because until the team can contain the petrol, the potential for danger is extremely high. Meanwhile, up on Auckland's North Shore, Noise Officer Mike Dennison is gearing up for a busy shift.
I just want to say hello to everybody back in Napier.
Friday night celebrations and late night parties are keeping the council's call lines running red hot, with complaints from frustrated neighbours unable to sleep.
05. Yes, I've got another job. I need to pass it to you and that's it.
And for Mike, that means another hectic night on the job.
It's just gone 11 o'clock. We've got a job up here in Glenfield. Just rock down, we'll have a listen. It's actually one of our regulars, so I'm expecting it's probably going to be loud.
Of the 100 complaints each week, many are frequent offenders, but Mike has to treat each report as if it's a first-timer.
If it's not excessive, maybe just a bit borderline, I'll usually go in and have a chat and just say, hey, we've received a complaint. If, in my opinion, the noise is excessive, I'll take action.
He pulls up a good 80 metres from the property, but it's immediately evident the noise is excessive.
Well, as you can hear, we can hear it from down here on the road, so yeah, I'm going to rock up and give them an end notice. Things are actually in behind all these houses.
Under the Resource Management Act, Noise Control can issue a written warning to reduce noise for 72 hours. To give the written warning, Mike has to find someone to issue the order to. Typically, it's whoever is hosting the party.
G'day, it's Noise Control.
Oh,
hey,
good rules.
Yeah. Hey, it's just loud, eh? You can hear it down on the road, man.
We know it's loud. It's meant to be.
If they clearly know the noise is excessive, then they have little regard for their neighbours. But Mike is playing Mr. Nice Guy in the hope they'll respond to the warning.
Yeah, but it's got to stay down a bit, eh? Just got to leave you one of these things again.
What up?
Is this your place?
What a
Yes.
No, sweet, man. You know how these things work, eh?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Just keep it down, we don't come
That
back,
is
eh?
so funny. Oh, yo, you gotta crack up the camera.
What a that's
Come on,
fucked up,
crack
man.
You guys have a good night.
Yo,
Push me, bro. It's all
some
good.
police shit. Catch us later, bro.
If Mike has to return again tonight, he won't be so nice, and they probably won't find it so funny. They face stiff fines and other penalties if they continue to ignore the written warning for creating excessive noise. Excessive noise is any noise that is under human control and of a nature as to unreasonably interfere with the peace, comfort and convenience of any person. Across town in South Auckland, noise officers Jake Farfua and Ben Fideau are heading out to their first call of the night. At a residential apartment, festivities are in full swing, but this man's party is a neighbour's sleepless nightmare.
Are you down at the house or not?
Yeah, you want to place a complaint?
Yep. Okay, obviously we've got a survey written warning for it because it's obviously too loud for your neighbours.
No, I want to see the tester for the noise.
It's done in the opinion.
The man wants scientific proof that his noise is excessive, but the decision is based on the noise team's discretion.
If you read this, I'll explain it to you.
Have a good read on the back of this. It will tell you what the tester is all about.
There's no prescribed level for what is excessive. Under the Resource Management Act, the council has the authority to control excessive noise. It's dependent on the type of noise, the time of day, and the location of neighbours.
The very next time we get the cops down here, I don't want to do that.
Drunken partygoers are hard to reason with, but like Mike on the North Shore, Jake and Ben are polite and pleasant and have issued the host with a written warning.
Okay guys, have a good night.
But if they're called back again tonight, there will be serious consequences.
If we find that we run into the same excessive noise again, then what usually happens is we call for police assistance and we confiscate the stereo or whatever is making that noise.
In Rangiora, Environmental Enforcement Officer Norman Marsh and emergency teams have shut down roads where potentially explosive fuel has infiltrated the stormwater system.
It's pumped for 2 minutes at 40 litres a minute and flown straight into the stormwater.
The spill above ground has now been contained by sand, and they're shovelling sand into neighbouring drains to prevent it spreading further afield.
And it went from the forecourt. They have no interceptors here. So it's gone straight into the stormwater onto the main street. We've actually abundant each grate going down the street, each opening, with sand to contain it so it won't go any further.
There's a standard procedure for dealing with toxic spills like this.
It's always stop the discharge, contain the discharge, and then try and remove the discharge.
Norman's most immediate concern is preventing the petrol fumes exploding in the pipes, but there's also a very real risk of the petrol escaping into surrounding streams and rivers. Petrol is highly toxic and, if allowed to escape into stormwater, will have disastrous effects on local ecological systems, polluting water, endangering plants and wildlife, and spoiling it for human recreation.
So at this stage, we've stopped the discharge, obviously. We've contained it.
Now the team are challenged with the task of removing it, and there's no room for mistakes.
It's still volatile. There's still a lot of hazard there. So we've just got to treat it with a lot of respect at the moment.
The simplest and safest option is bringing in a sucker truck. That's a truck equipped with a suction hose and a powerful pump. But getting one to this location in the middle of the night takes time.
Yeah, they've only got a diaphragm pump, which won't do. So we can't get the sucker trucks out at the moment.
Until the truck arrives, the risks remain extremely high.
We've still got the issue with fumes, and it's still petrol. So until the sucker truck comes here, until we get all that cleaned up, I'm still on tenterhooks, let me tell you.
The sucker truck did arrive. The fire brigade repeatedly pumped water into the pipes, which the truck was able to suck out. Any petrol residue was diluted down to a safe level, and the threat of explosion and environmental pollution eliminated. The town of Rangiora was then able to sleep easy. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the residents of South Auckland. We're back on patrol with noise officer Jake Farfua. He visited this place earlier in the evening and issued a warning. With loud noise spilling out into the street, the neighbours have made a second complaint. It appears the warning fell on deaf ears.
The reason why I don't go into these properties like this is when they've got gates there, a lot of these properties have dogs.
Jake's job is to protect the public from unreasonable noise, but his own safety is paramount, so he remains out of potential harm's way at the gate.
Hiya. How are you? Noise control.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm Mel.
Mel, nice to meet you. Mel, my name's Jake.
Nice to meet you. What's up, bro?
How are you?
Tell me what's up.
Again, Jake has the difficult task of getting his message across. The person he spoke to on his first visit hasn't come out, so now he's got to go over it again.
I just need to explain something to you. There's been a noise complaint. I thought I'd come up here and just have a chat with you guys first and just let you know that the warnings we serve. Actually, I can come in here right now and seize the equipment straight away.
Didn't you come before?
With the police, yeah, I did.
Terrence.
But the guy was really cool. I had no problems with him. He was sweet. Okay, it was all good.
Explain to us, okay?
Yeah.
It's not taking.
Unfortunately for Jake, he's become the target of one party goer's frustration.
Tuesday night, you're on the piss till 4 in the morning. What have you there?
Terrence. Terrence. Terrence.
Turn up the stereo. Can you tell us?
No, I'll explain to you.
It has to be completely off.
Yeah, I would say so. Because right now, I should be seizing that equipment. But the guy that I spoke to before was quite receptive. He was actually really good. That's why I'm giving you one more chance. That's it, finish. If I get another complaint, I've got to come back here.
So what, do we got to turn stereo?
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
I would suggest that. I'm
not
not telling you, I'm just suggesting
no,
it to you.
I'm just asking.
Fortunately, there's one level-headed person able to take control.
Turn the music off.
We're going to turn the music off.
So do you know what we're going to do?
Let's go to Mouse House.
We're going to go to Mouse House.
Thank you very much. I'm sure your neighbours will be much appreciative.
Well, I don't understand it. They party all the time.
Yeah. I only come because there's a complaint, mate. Okay, thank you. All right, see ya.
They are very lucky to escape with another warning, and if Jake doesn't receive any more noise complaints from disgruntled neighbours, that will be the end of the matter. Back on the North Shore with Noise Officer Mike, but what's been a relatively quiet night is about to become anything but.
We're heading to a job up in Birkenhead. Apparently it's a demolition party. They're demolishing the house as they move out. So yeah, we're just heading up there to have a listen, see if it's loud.
Birkenhead is better known for stylish houses with harbour views and quiet tree-lined streets, rather than wild demolition parties, whatever they are.
Usually it's when people have been evicted from a flat and just before they move out, they know they pretty well aren't going to get their bond back anyway, so they give it a proper trash.
On arrival, not only is there loud heavy metal music, there's also boys playing with loud toys. Coming up, can Mike control an out-of-control crowd?
I just make out we're all like Aussies or something. Like Aussie wankers just arrived.
Back with Noise Officer Mike Dennison at a rowdy demolition party in the usually well-mannered suburb of Birkenhead. It turns out they're not disgruntled tenants. A new house is about to be built on the property, and the owners are celebrating by demolishing the old one. So it appears to be lawful, but loud music, chainsaws and sledgehammers at this time of night aren't, when they're affecting people living nearby. But one of the partygoers thinks he has a novel solution.
Is there any way we can like pretend we're someone else? Like just make out we're all like Aussies or something. Like Aussie wankers just arrived. Yeah, we're from Sydney and we've come over and we've had a few bushfires where we are. And we just thought we'd like to share in some of the experiences that we've had.
The party mood may be jovial, but the noise is excessive. Mike's asking that it be reduced to a reasonable level, and he's giving the party host a formal written warning.
I just need to grab a name.
Actually, no, can't put it under ours because we're in full no collar for the dog. I've got to put.
Oh, is this dog control?
No, it's noise control, mate.
I know it's noise.
Yeah, if you don't want to give me your real name, that's cool. I'll just put refuse to supply. That's easy.
Not at all.
Well, it's like, I just need a name.
No one lives here.
There are a number of mature adults at this party, including the host, but none of them are making Mike's job any easier.
No one lives here. I'm trying to think of the technical one. No, you're fine. Put but no. Put my brother's name, Bird.
Mate, no, I need to know who I'm talking to. I'm leaving this with.
Tony.
He's reluctant to give his name, but Mike's very used to dealing with this kind of evasiveness and eventually gives him the warning.
Yeah, this is the free one. I can't say, mate.
Are you night?
Just keep it down.
Night shift.
I'm noise control, mate. I'm on that night. Anyway, you guys have a good night.
Away from the party, Mike reveals the frustration he was feeling during the negotiations, having to reason with grown people who should have known better.
In my opinion, they're like middle-aged crisis type people, Pākehā, 40s, 50s, probably more money than sense, beamers out on the road, the chainsaws and sledgehammers. It's just stupid. And then they're making it a great big party. I guess, you know, they don't have a lot of thrills in their lives, bar boardrooms and BMWs.
It's now the small hours of the morning in South Auckland, a time when most people are winding down and Jake's role is amping up. A loud and disorderly party has spilled out onto the street and it's turning nasty. Jake has to be careful. Some people are drunk here and there's the potential for things to get seriously out of hand.
Hey, who actually lives here, mate? Who actually lives here?
Clearly there's a noise problem here, with the loud music and people creating a disturbance on the street. But how does Jake manage a potentially volatile situation?
What?
Hey, mate, just...
Walking from my own house, on my own fucking little world, gonna look for my fucking son now because of you, asshole. What did I do to you?
The distressed host is not currently the best person to target, so Jake tries her sober friend.
And if you could just go in and tune that music because their music's too loud.
I will.
Okay, thanks, Jennifer. Okay, you have a good night. Hopefully we won't see you again because if we do, it's
I'm
not going to
from
be
West
good.
Auckland, so I'm not used to this shit.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm
not
not party,
mellow.
come back to my house.
Okay, mate.
Yeah.
All right, cheers. Thank you. Okay, see ya.
Mission accomplished. For now, anyway.
Oh, that was a lively bunch.
And as the weather takes a turn for the worst, so too does Jake's next call. Noise control abated this property earlier, but the noise has continued and a second complaint has come in. First step is to assess whether the second complaint is justified.
Yeah, it's definitely excessive. So we have to call for the police and seize the equipment.
It's Jake's job at this point to confiscate the source of the excessive noise. Standard procedure requires him to call in the police for backup in case things turn bad.
Obviously, been further complaints about the noise of the property, so I've got to come here and seize the equipment now.
They're about to have their main source of entertainment disappear out the door. Fortunately, there's an adult present to keep the calm.
Okay, the music is too loud. In the meantime, can you just keep the volume down and let these ones go quickly, okay?
Jake takes care not to damage the equipment, and then it's out of there before the mood changes.
It's us, Brady. It's us, Brady.
That's my stereo cars.
Having your equipment seized isn't cheap. A $250 recovery fee must be paid on pickup, or the item will be sold at auction. Back on the North Shore with Mike, and like Jake, he's following up on a second complaint about a party he visited earlier in the evening.
Hey, it's just a bit loud, eh? You can hear it down on the road, man.
We know it's loud. It's meant to be.
Mike gave them a written warning at the time.
Catch you later, bro.
Several hours later, the noise still remains highly audible, well beyond their property boundary.
I've been up, I've assessed it from up the driveway a bit. It's as loud as when we came back the first time, so yeah, I'm going to get the police and we'll see if we can't get this stopped.
Again, 2 police officers are on hand to provide backup. It's a necessary precaution, but it puts additional demands on police resources on what is typically a busy night.
Hello.
Hey, mate. Noise control.
We've only had one warning.
I had an order to remove the stereo, put the dogs in the room.
You only get the one warning, man.
Do it now.
Rightio, calm down, buddy. Jesus Christ. Come on, son. Oi,
Get this dog out of my face.
Yeah, I'm doing it, man. Calm down.
Animals can be unpredictable, so the dog must be secured before the property is safe for entry.
What is this bullshit, man? Where's our warnings?
Hey, calm down.
The initial written warning stated the noise be reduced for 72 hours. No further warnings are required, and the fact that he hasn't complied means the source of the noise can be seized.
What happened to f***ing warnings? What happened to warnings? You gave us one warning.
Ben. Oi, can you please
Listen, buddy.
give me a second to please calm him down?
What's up and knows unavoidable, okay?
While the police keep the disgruntled man in check, Mike goes about his job confiscating the source of the neighbourhood nuisance.
Another happy customer. Thanks, guys.
After another long night of parties, Auckland and the North Shore are returning to quiet, thanks to the noise control boys.